One of the other things I wanted to talk about, and it's sort of on the topic of the amount of money that's invested into, in this case, research into breast cancer. The pink test was something that you came out. No, I mean, against is probably not the right word, but sort of talking about saying that there is far
Against?
too much against.
I was at the pink test,
Yes.
surrounded by
Which is the cricket test put forward by Glenn McGrath after he lost his wife to breast cancer, and it's raised a lot of money, which obviously
huge amounts of money.
is great.
Which is wonderful, raising money for breast cancer nurses to
Yes.
help. But it's an area that really interests me. I've been very interested all my life in erections. I just think they're the most fantastic piece of engineering.
That is the start of the podcast right there.
No, it's partly guilt. When I was a young sex therapist, we knew nothing about erections. We had no idea about the mechanism involved here, let alone how to fix it when they go wrong, when they disappear. So I used to sit with these guys, trying to help them and say, you've just got to relax and it's all in your head. Well, it wasn't. It wasn't in their heads. It was in their dicks. I mean, it was in their erections. It turned out to be a physical problem.
Yep.
And it's the most amazing mechanism involved there. And over my lifetime, we've learned all about that. And we've acquired these fantastic treatments for helping men who have problems with erections. And so it's a really important cause to me. And what makes me hopping mad is if you look at breast cancer, when a woman loses a breast through breast cancer and has a mastectomy, we pour resources at her. We give her enormous, we all understand what a blow that is to her femininity. We give her a lot of support. We give government money for breast reconstruction and prosthesis and so on, as we should. I mean, that's fantastic. But when a man loses the sexual functioning of his penis through prostate cancer, and it's the consequence of the treatments for prostate cancer that cause the erection problems, we don't give a single cent of government money for penile rehabilitation. And, I spent my life talking to men about their erections and the fact that, what a blow that is for a man.
It is.
If he can't get it up anymore.
That is, and people shame men for it.
Yeah.
Men shame themselves for it. They feel less masculine because of it.
It's just terrible. And so I have been out there for years saying, why is there this disparity? So here I was at the pink test, surrounded by men in pink, raising money for breast cancer nurses. And at that time, there was something like a couple of hundred breast cancer nurses at least working in across Australia. And they were raising money for hundreds and hundreds more. And there were like 28 prostate cancer nurses in Australia. And I spent the whole day with my iPhone going around and interviewing men saying, why are you doing this? Don't you care about, why don't men care about men losing their lives? Why don't care men, just interviewing. And what was interesting is I had just as many women who were hopping mad about it. Women who say, my dad died of prostate cancer, and if he saw these men in pink, he'd be, really furious. Why don't people care about men's lives? Why don't people care about men's health?
I think it's a great thing, like most people do, that it's raising money, and it's a really positive thing, and hopefully it pushes more women to go out and get breast checks.
Oh, no, it's not a great thing. You know why it's not a great thing? Breast cancer is now getting a hugely disproportionate hunk of the cancer money.
Yes, but this is my point.
Yeah.
You need to make sure that everyone, based on the amount of people that are having it or the amount of research that needs to go into it. We spoke to another gentleman who had brain cancer, and his foundation is raising a lot of money. And it's important that things like brain cancer, things like prostate cancer, these cancers or these horrible diseases that are affecting thousands of people on a daily basis
More
across
people
Australia.
than breast cancer.
Prostate cancer?
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
But the trouble is it's older men. And, obviously there are some young women getting breast cancer, but there are more men dying of prostate cancer than women die of breast cancer.
Wow.
Yep. And, as you say, brain cancer, testicular cancer.
Yeah.
We hear so little about that. I did a thing on the ball tampering thing, telling men to tamper with their balls.
Yeah, absolutely. And dudes should. There was a guy, Furious Pete, who's a YouTuber, really big following. He has testicular cancer. He's lost a testicle and he's going through chemo at the moment.
Yeah.
And he's big on, talking about it. But there are very few people that talk about it. People need to get behind different charities, different movements to try and raise money and awareness. Like now, mental health is the big one that people are focusing on. But people are struggling. And a lot of the time people
and
don't.
men are struggling much more than women. Look, the funding for health, whole range of health issues, is now disproportionately favouring women. And why don't we care about, all these issues that particularly impact on men?